Good morning, everyone. Can I have your attention? I just want to welcome everyone. I am Mitch Shepard, Terry Alumni Board Member and Terry Third Thursday Committee Chair. It is my honor to fill in for Dean Chatterjee, who could not be here this morning. He is on tour with the Economic Outlook, so we will certainly miss him. But I want to welcome everyone to the Terry Executive Education Center for the first Terry Third Thursday of 2026. And I want to thank all of you for being here this morning, this very cold morning. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsors, our corporate sponsor, Synovus. Thank you, guys. I would also like to thank our media sponsor, Public Broadcasting of Atlanta, WABE. Terry Third Thursday would not be possible without all of our sponsors, so I want to thank all of you. I'd also like to recognize Ms. Christine Smith. She's probably going to kill me for doing this, but as the Terry Third Thursday committee chair, I see what all goes on behind getting these presentations ready in the morning, and she and her team do a fantastic job. So thank you, Christine. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker this morning, Mr. John Hearn. John serves as the Chief Operating Officer for IMA Financial Group, a premier insurance and financial services firm. Following a successful tenure with Atlanta's The Benefit Company, a 1994 Terry alum, John is a recognized expert in healthcare reform and insurance cost management, frequently advising key clients and speaking at industry forums. John's leadership extends to the Georgia Chamber of Commerce and the Sigma Nu Fraternity Foundation. A Georgia native, John and his wife Amy reside in East Cobb, and all three of their children attended the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. Please join me in welcoming John Hearn.
Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mitch. I appreciate that. Did y'all notice when I came up that I gave him an elbow bump? That's because I've been under the weather for a little while, so y'all are going to have to bear with me with my voice. My wife told me this morning that I sounded like Barry White. Any older folks in the room will know who that is. The younger folks, grab a mentor and they can tell you who Barry White is. Amy, my wife, she's a nurse, so she gave me some zinc. I've got all sorts of vitamin C in me. If I went and did blood work right now, my doctor would tell me I'm an orange tree probably. But we're gonna get through this. We gotta chop some wood, just like Kirby Smart would tell us, right? So let's chop some wood. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick survey. Got to figure out the room a little bit here. By show of hands, who in the room graduated? Let's just pick a date before 2002. And how many graduated after 2002? Okay, a little more on the after 2002, but I tried to pick a date there that would kind of split up the room there. All right, now this is going to be a calibration test here. How many of you in the room have ever said to yourself at work, to your thought, this is the thought bubble, how many of you have ever thought to yourself, my coworker doesn't know what they're doing? All right. The calibration truth test worked. This is a trusting audience. Well, let me tell you about those hands that were raised. If you were on the younger end, not to have ageism here, but if you were on the younger end of the first question on when you graduated, you might be thinking, this older person doesn't know what they're doing. How did they get here? If you're older and the younger person is trying to do a little ready, fire, aim, you're like, they need to slow their roll a little bit and figure out what's going on. Well, let me share with you that you're both right. And there lies the definition of wisdom versus knowledge. So if you've been there and done that, and you know what doesn't work because you experienced it, that's wisdom. If you have some technical knowledge because you know something that maybe those with a little silver in their hair doesn't know, that's technical knowledge. So the lesson is, if you have somebody that you're dealing with that's older, be sure to learn about their wisdom. If you're older dealing with somebody younger, make sure you understand their knowledge. Wisdom versus knowledge. We all have something to learn from each other. So we're going to use that as a little sequence here to make sure we keep the audience engaged. When I give a point, I'm going to say, got it? And y'all say, I'm going to say, get it. And y'all say, got it. Let's try that again. Get it? Got it. Okay. So the point, wisdom versus knowledge. Got it? Get it? Got it. Okay. Temperature is only 101. We're rolling. All right. Let's roll here. So, is my lavalier working? Is that how you pronounce that, lavalier? Okay. Here we go. If I'm going to speak to a group, I'm going to tell you all about the best thing I've ever done, and that's my family. So over to the right there is me. They call me Juan Grande. I wonder why, but that's me. Just to my right is my daughter, Darden, my oldest. Darden went to work for Malcolm Mitchell at Share the Magic Foundation out of college. Everybody remember Bulldog great Malcolm Mitchell? She worked there about 3 years. Now she's over at Home Depot working in corporate communications. And she's a UGA grad, as Mitch said, and she is getting her MBA coming here 2 nights a week in this building. She's getting married in October, and we like him a whole lot. Okay. I'll get back to my wife in the middle there, who you might think is one of my daughters. Then to her right is Christian. She's also a UGA alum. Christian is a nurse at Piedmont Healthcare. Gordon, your brother Michael at Piedmont, works with some folks in neuro ICU step down at Piedmont. And then my son Will there on my far right from the picture is a junior at UGA. Do you remember when you were a junior at UGA? Do we have fun or what? He has no idea how good he's got it, but he's a junior at UGA having a ball. So a few pictures there. Let's see, that'd be your bottom right. You see the family there huddled around Vince Dooley. Is that right? Bottom right? Yeah. Vince Dooley, that was about a year before he passed away. Right below that is my dad right there in the middle. God rest his soul. That was his last football game at UGA that I happened to be at, my most memorable. We beat Auburn that night. There's Darden with Kirby. Right below that is the 5 of us at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena when we beat Oklahoma State. Oklahoma. Was that 3 overtimes? Anybody? Who else? 2 overtimes? Who else was at that game? Man, that was an awesome game. Just to the right of that, left of that, is you see that white circle? That is a circle over someone on the side of a mountain. That's my daughter, Christian. She climbs as a hobby, and that's a book that she's in because she was the first female to climb that route in the state of Georgia. So that's a pretty cool thing. And that scares us to death, but we just pretend that doesn't happen. And then just to the left of that, Bulldog Illustrated, see the number 3? My son Will, who's living the glory years at UGA, he works for Bulldog Illustrated for Vance over there. And that's a picture he took that made it in that magazine. He gets to travel with the team and take pictures for Bulldog Illustrated. How cool is that? So that's my kids. I got to mirror my audience, show y'all that we love UGA. Get it? Okay. All right. So first thing, little trite phrase here, but set priorities. I'm going to go through my journey in life and just share with you 10 bits of wisdom that I think I've had that maybe will impart something on you. First priority, first point, set priorities. God, family, and dogs. This is our family brick at the UGA walk at the entrance. And I want to impart on you that priorities for me, God, number 1, family, number 2. I've got dogs in here just to kind of make sure I'm fitting in here. It's probably more about friends and work and then dogs, but for this audience, I think I can get away with saying dogs is a priority. Those priorities of God, family, friends should probably be in there, and relationships. Never before, you'll see that comment there, never before has our society had more information and been less connected. If there's one piece of wisdom I could give you, especially for the younger folks in the room, all this social media, the screen time, the amount of time we're spending with our eyes on something other than relationships is going to damage us. So please make relationships a priority in your life after those other 2. Get it? Okay, next. All right. Now here's my wife, Amy. You see her hat? Sorry about my husband. She says a little of me goes a long way. But my wife knows what a knucklehead I am. So Amy, we've been married 28 years. Awesome. She has kept me out of a lot of ditches. Love her to death. In 2022, that little picture on the bottom right is a little something that happened in our family. It's called her brain aneurysm. And Amy, my wife, that picture is post-aneurysm. She is a walking miracle. She's had 2 surgeries, no residual effect. Those things don't usually work out all that well. But she has no residual effects. She kept her life. And that was certainly a lesson in my life when I'm sitting here going along with the normal day-to-day stuff, the checking 300 emails. I got to do this. I got to do that. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. When that happened to me, it opened my eyes to really what's important. Now, I knew it academically. I had the knowledge that family is important, but I didn't have the wisdom until I went through this event with her. So act like it's the first day you ever met your loved ones, and act like it's the last day you'll ever see them. Got it? Thank you for your grace with get it. Thank you. I keep that picture at home on my counter at the sink just to remind me of that. She also tells me to put it away a lot, but I think she really likes that I keep that front and center. Okay, now to my life and career. I've already shared some of my life, but let me just go through a few of these. If I bore you, give me one of these. You won't hurt my feelings. I'm the 5th child. I can deal with it. But if you need me to slow down, raise your hand and ask me. Childhood, Monroe, Georgia. Anybody ever hear of it? So when I grew up in Monroe, it was population 8,000. It's now doubled in size since then to 16,000. All the storefronts in downtown Monroe that used to be boarded up because the mills had closed are now open. And it's a great little town to visit. Spend a weekend going over there. It's a great town. 5 siblings. My twin sister and I are the youngest. And my parents, so 7 of us, grew up in a 1.5 bath. We didn't have dirt floors or anything, but we grew up just classic middle class. But I had a great childhood, great parents. Some of these folks in the room knew my parents, and then went to George Walton Academy, which is a fine institution now, but back then maybe didn't get the highest education, but it's doing great things now, and just a great organization that I'm supporting philanthropically with my wife. Went to UGA. I was laughing. Some of the folks at the table, when they said I graduated in '94, I started laughing because let's just say I made a few laps around the track at UGA to graduate in '94. Because some of you in the room who probably started in '94 thought I was already a junior or senior then. And there I took a few extra years to get through. Was president of Sigma Nu Fraternity. That's meant a lot to me in my life. I wanted to put that in here. I've been involved with them at a national level since then. While in Athens, I worked at Athens Regional, which is now Piedmont. Gordon Burnett, raise your hand. Gordon's brother, Michael, is now the president of Athens Piedmont. Michael and I, your brother and I, worked at Athens Regional together back then, and we would handle bed control and emergency room, and we would tell you what room you're going to go to. I looked like Doogie Howser. I'd walk in and I'd ask you for your insurance card when your arm was falling off. That's the role I had. But that's where I met my wife, Amy. So my dad was giving me a little tough love in college because of my academic performance or lack thereof, and made me go get a job. So that's where I got it. And that's where I met my wife. So all things work out great. Met some great people around there. Gordon's brother, Michael, not the least of them. Early career, went to work for Unum. Somebody in here works for Unum. Where's Mr. Hope? Back there, right there, works for Unum. That's where I started off my career. Great organization, great place to surround yourself with good people, great place to develop habits. I noticed you got here sooner than your father this morning, so they're already training you on getting in early, right? That is awesome. So get it. I'm about to make a point. Don't say got it yet. Who you surround yourself matters. I think it's one of the most important lessons I've learned in my life is that who you surround yourself with matters. More importantly, who you choose not to surround yourself with matters a whole lot. So avoid the knuckleheads that aren't serious about trying to make a difference, who are selfish, and focus on building relationships with those who are out for the greater good and out to make everything better. Get it? Got it. Okay. All right. Next, 2001. My family has been in Georgia since like 1818, something crazy like that. Generations and generations and generations in Monroe. My dad was born in Monroe. So that kind of thing tells you a little bit about our story. I moved with Amy to Phoenix, Arizona in 2001. My family thought I had lost my mind to move out of the state of Georgia, but I did so because Unum had a market leadership opportunity out there. And so this was a major move. My wife, God bless her, she came along supportive, a little bit of kicking and screaming, but she came along. And my lesson there, in hindsight, at the time, I'm taking the leap of faith. I'd prayed about it. I wasn't getting a clear answer. I'm like, God, please give me an answer. Sometimes he doesn't answer immediately. But we just chose to take a risk and move out there without really knowing for sure what we did. It taught us so much about our relationship, gave us confidence about doing something in an unfamiliar environment, and really no regrets. I'm not encouraging the young people in this room to move out of the state of Georgia. This is one of the best states in the country, and I've been to most of them. This is one of the best states in the country, but for me, this is indicative of a lesson that I would give you on making sure you take risk. Get it? Got it. Okay. 2002, moved to San Diego. That's kind of interesting. Phoenix in 01, San Diego in 02. Lived in Phoenix for 1 year. That's 2 summers, if you think about it. Because I moved in June. We had 1 winter, and then summer starts in March. You talk about hot. Now, that place is hot. But we moved out of there. We moved to San Diego. This is my what Brene Brown says, be vulnerable, right? Everybody watched that one? Be vulnerable. Here's where I'm vulnerable. I went to this new company that it's like Voldemort. The name, it'll remain nameless. But I went to San Diego in 2002, and the truth is I was chasing money. They dangled a big paycheck in front of me. And I was like, ooh, they think I'm special. I wasn't worth that much money, still aren't to this day. But I chased that money instead of understanding the integrity of the person I was going to work with. And that was a career blip. I wouldn't trade it for the world because of the wisdom it gave me, the wisdom that experience gave me. But it was definitely a career blip. And again, the lesson there is be careful about chasing income. I'll give you just a moment on the got it. 2005 to 2009, after that didn't work out, we could have some beers and wine over that story for sure. But in 2005, I moved back to Atlanta, went to work for the chairman of Unum, if you notice that up until 2001, who had left Unum to start another company, went to work for that organization, which was bought in 2007 by Goldman Sachs. That was a okay day for me, a really good day for some of the owners of the company, if you know what I mean. And that was another little lesson I'll just give as an insight is equity matters if you can get it, get it. But that was an organization that I worked with for 5 years. As I went through all those journeys, a key point I want to share with you, especially the young people in this room, and if you've got some wisdom, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to preach for a moment. Save your money. Live beneath your means. You think when you get out of college, you get this paycheck, you learned out who the government is because you start sending them taxes, and then after that, you got this money, you're like, I'm going to go buy me a BMW. I'm going to go buy me a car because I want to, because I'm going to look cool driving. Don't do it. Live beneath your means. Save your money. I'm telling you from God's breath, if you save your money, it will give you options in your career. And those options will pop up in ways that you have no idea to foresee them. But when you foresee them, you're like, Okay, I got an option. I can go A or I can go B. But if I go A, that's a huge risk because I ain't got no money at home. But if you got money in the bank, you can take risk. You can't do it if you don't save your money. Okay, so prepare. Get it? Got it. Does it sound like I'm being too preachy? All right. It's just the truth. I'm telling you. You think it's the truth? Is it the truth? Michael Berry taught me that one. Hearn, don't go buy a BMW when you get that first paycheck. All right. So for me, I had some great mentors in my life, including my wife, who saved the first nickel she ever made. We lived frugally through those years. In 2009, because I had some money saved up, I was able to become a partner in the benefit company. So even some of my coworkers here up at this table don't know this story. Some of you do. When I started at the benefit company, I went 2 years with no income. That's why saving money was important, because I could have never done this if I didn't have money saved up. I stuck $250,000, which was, it's a lot of money today. It was a whole lot of money to me back then. I stuck $250,000 in a savings account, and you're going to question my integrity with this now, but I was sending myself $10,000 a month out of my savings account to my checking account. Why? So that my wife thought I was getting a paycheck. But I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have taken this opportunity if I didn't have money saved up. I joined the benefit company in 2009. In 2010, this thing called healthcare reform passed. Well, the benefit company, hence the name, does employee benefits. Healthcare reform comes along, and about 90% of our revenue was tied up in healthcare. So healthcare reform comes along, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? What have I done? We've got this healthcare reform coming on. It could disrupt 90% of our revenue. Here I am spending down all my little nest egg that I built up. What have we done? Well, it turns out that was the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my career, because somebody who didn't know a lot about healthcare, I read the healthcare bill. I think it was 18,000 pages, I think. I read the healthcare bill. Probably nobody in Washington read the thing, but I read the healthcare bill. I knew that thing backwards and forwards. That's the only thing that employers wanted to talk about during the first 2 years of my career, because it's what was hot and center that time. So nobody ever questioned me about my experience in healthcare. They wanted to know what technical knowledge I had about something that was front and center to them at that point. So that was a challenge that scared me to death when it happened. But that challenge, unbeknownst to me, presented great opportunities, because it allowed me to become an expert in a field that I was not an expert in, and talk about something that the employers of that day wanted to talk about. So challenges present opportunities. Get it? Okay, thank you. I got it right that time. 2009 to 2023, growth years. Some folks at this table came along with me in, I guess, 2013. Michael, Nick, 2013. 2013, those were the growth years. The most important word on how to be successful in this entire presentation, outside of anything about integrity, is grit. You see that little word in small font? Grit, work ethic. When you get knocked down, get back up. Many of us in this room, some not, but many in this room have grown up with a blessed life, maybe even some with a silver spoon. If you've never faced adversity, get ready, because it'll come. You will face adversity in your life, and you got to get up when you get knocked down. It will happen. And that grit is something that you can't train. You've either got it or you don't. And check yourself every day, every hour. Check yourself on your grit and your commitment to what you're doing. Got a phrase there: make the coffee and turn off the lights. Pardon me. What do I mean by that? Work ethic. So if I ask the room, who in here works hard? It's a rhetorical question. Don't raise your hand. Who in this room works hard? Everybody raise their hand. I'm working so hard. I do it too. I'm working so hard. Aren't I great? I work hard. Everybody works hard. Well, let me tell you, there's a difference in saying you work hard and working hard. And if you're not the first, second, or third person in the office in the morning, this is for the younger folks, and or the first, second, or third person out of the office, and I put the word office in quotes, right? We're in a virtual world now. But if you're not putting in those kinds of hours, then check yourself on whether or not you're making the coffee turn out the lights, because that's a sign of your grit. Get it? Got it. Okay. People will disagree with me on that, but I believe it. It's at least been something that I think I've at least delivered, and I'm humble too. Okay. Next, partnered with IMA. So that's the company we're with now. When the mic goes around, somebody's going to say, what does IMA stand for? The answer is nobody knows. But I'll tell you a little bit more about them in just a moment. We being the benefit company, partnered with IMA in 2023. Partnered with is our colloquial language to say we want to partner with new firms that come on board. The rest of the industry would refer to it as we sold to, right? But we call it partnered with. When we sold to or partnered with IMA, we had options at the table. We could have sold for more money, and that would have been nice. But we chose the harder right over the easier wrong by choosing the company that we thought had the culture that would best fit with us, a culture that had a sustainable forever mindset, forever company mindset, and a place where we can continue winning in the marketplace. So I'd learned earlier in my career, you heard me, don't chase the income. So right here, I put my money where my mouth is, and I said, we're not going to chase the highest bidder. We're going to go with a place where our team can continue thriving and have sustainability over the course of time. So choose the harder right over the easier wrong. Get it? Just more energy. Get it? All right, good. Thank you. I know I'm bringing you down, but don't bring me down. Okay. All right, who is IMA? This is a commercial. What are commercials? 2 minutes? Chuck Woolery used to say 2 and 2. I'll give you less than 2 minutes on who IMA is. 3,000 employees. We're an insurance broker. We probably got some Sterling Seacrest people in the room. Raise your hand. Do we? There we are. Aren't we in a great industry? Sterling Seacrest is a friendly competitor of ours, but great people over there. Joel Stern's a dear friend. Yeah, good folks. Okay, so IMA, Sterling Seacrest, we are insurance brokers. IMA, 3,000 people. We're headquartered in Denver, Colorado. We got about 35 offices around the country. That's the United States on the bottom right, if you can see that. We are 100% of our employees are owners in the company. So we were an ESOP up until 2019. Now we're a different kind of model, but it's an employee-owned company, and we do insurance brokerage. So anybody in insurance at a cocktail party, if you're asked, what do you do for a living? You don't want to say, I'm in the insurance business. So you say, we do risk management or financial services. Okay. So that's why that says risk management. But what we mean by that is property and casualty insurance, surety bonds, employee benefits, retirement plans, Ross Sims, retirement right there, and then executive benefits as well. So that's who IMA is. Our Atlanta office is in the King and Queen building, hence the picture, right there at the north point, north of the perimeter area. And we've got about 45 employees in our office and just have a ball together. So that's my commercial. Did I do that in less than 2 minutes? All right. Chuck Woolery, back in 2 and 2. Okay. Here we go. Y'all remember when he did that? Only the old people. You younger folks are going to wonder, what in the heck is he talking about? Okay. I'm the COO of the organization. So I came in as the market president of IMA in Atlanta. Just got, some financial security through that transaction. And I'm sitting there clicking along. It's going to be a great place to work until I retire over the next 8 years. About a year into that, the chairman calls me and says, hey, John, I thought he was calling me just to say how's the transaction going, how's the new partnership, all those types of things. He said, I'm really calling because I want you to be the COO of the organization. I'm like, oh my gosh. Michael Berry saying, Hearn, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, I said yes. I'm having a ball with it. The chief operating officer of IMA. Now, this is going to surprise some folks who were with me in college, but I'm over HR. So HR is under me. Y'all keep our secrets, okay? Keep our secrets. I got HR. Some of my millennials who have worked with me will be surprised by this one too. I'm also over the chief information officer. So the technology person. I mean, I got to call 1-800 to turn on my computer, but I'm over them. General counsel, the foundation president, and then the chief people officer. So these folks are reporting to me. We are what I would call a classic matrix organization. The reason I'm in that role, I believe, is because I'm a collaborator. I like connecting people. In a matrix organization, if you don't have good feedback loops and agility, the thing will fall apart. So that's really what my role is to make sure left hands are talking to right hands and collaborating to move us forward. Okay, enough of that. All right, let me tell you a final story, and then we can open it up for some Q&A. Left-hand side, that's a gentleman named Tyler Hall Brown. Tyler Hall Brown went to Woodward Academy. Any Woodward alums in here? Woodward Academy alums? Right here. All right. You'll probably know this name. Tyler Brown was president of his class at Woodward Academy. His father is the founder of the benefit company firm, of which many of us worked. Tyler went to Georgia Tech and became SGA president. So he was president of the student body at Georgia Tech. This cat had it going on, okay? He'd future senator if ever there was one. He decides to join the military and becomes an Army Ranger, gets sent to Korea, is invited back to be on the Old Guard. Anybody know who the Old Guard is? These are the folks, these are the baddest of the bad. They do the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. They guard the White House. This is the highest class part of the military, in my opinion. And Tyler was invited back to be a part of the Old Guard. He turned it down because he didn't want to leave his troop. About 3 weeks later, he was sent from Korea to Iraq. And within 3 weeks of being in Iraq, he was killed in action in Ar-Ramadi in September of 2004, September 15th, I believe. That says September 14th because it was 14th there, but it was 15th here. So he was killed in action in Iraq. You can imagine the tragedy that was. So my son Will there on the right, he comes along many years later. He's now bigger than I am, so that's when he was a first grader. We decide that as part of Boy Scouts, I'm the troop leader here. So we decide we're going to go to Marietta National Cemetery, and we're going to put flags on the markers of the markers on Memorial Day weekend. So we start this, and when we're there, he's like, pulling on his tie and like, it's too early. Where's the donut? He didn't get it. He just didn't want to be there. And I said, come on, let's go kill some time. Let's walk up the hill and let's find a marker that we can put a flag on so I can take a picture of you and I can send it to Tyler's dad, Tyler Hall Brown, the one killed in action. So we go up the hill. We find this marker, and we just chose it because it was sitting there, and we chose it, Jeffrey Blanton. See it? Can anybody see well enough to see when Jeffrey Blanton was killed in action? 2004. The same year Tyler had been killed. So I said, well, let's just put the marker here, and we'll take a picture. We sent it, and every year we did this. We took a picture, and we sent it to Kerry Brown, Tyler's dad, and we just said, we remember. So that was our little tradition. So we went back, did it second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade. And we took this picture every year of Will putting a flag on Jeffrey Blanton's marker. Well, what was so cool, in an odd sort of way, is that every year at this event, they would have a speaker come up, and the speaker would vary. They had generals, they had politicians, they had all sorts of folks that would come up and give a presentation. Usually there was about 1,000 scouts there that had been putting up flags at Marietta National Cemetery. This year, I believe it was 8th grade, which would be the top right picture or the far right picture. This year, the historian of the cemetery is giving the speech. So I go into this saying, well, I wanted to hear from a senator. I wanted to hear from somebody from the general, from the military. We got as a historian now. That's not really my gig, but I guess we're going to go listen to him. So we went and listened to him, and it changed my life. This guy, the historian, says, yada, 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 yada. There are 18,000 people. I remember it was like it was yesterday. There are 18,000 service members buried at Marietta National Cemetery. And then he said, nobody, I'm standing right next to Will, the speaker's right up here, and he said, nobody that was killed in action has been buried at Marietta National Cemetery since 1971 because it has filled up. And then he says, except for one. And guess who it was? Jeffrey Blanton. That we had, ironically, I don't believe in ironies, but we had ironically picked 8 years earlier, just ironically, out of 18,000, we picked that marker to put the flag on. And then the speaker went on. I'm looking at Will going, that can't be right, because we've been doing this marker on 20, we're doing one of these. And then the speaker, after a pause, goes, except for one. And he said, Jeffrey Blanton. And then he goes on to say, and the reason an exception was made for him is because why? You ain't gonna believe this. Because when he was growing up in Douglas County on Memorial Day weekends, he came as a Boy Scout to Marietta National Cemetery to put flags on the markers. If that doesn't get your juices going, you don't have juices. So the 10th, get it, got it? Watch for God winks. That's a God wink if ever there was one. And that changed my and Will, my son's, perspective in a way that we had just lived something together that was clearly a God wink, where now we have an anchor point spiritually that can't be described. And so there's some wisdom he has after being through that event that gives us some depth of our conversations that I wouldn't trade for the world. So watch for God winks. Here they all are. I won't go through them all, but there's all the little get it, got it. Get it? Here they are. Priorities, faith, family first, and relationships. Choices, choices, choices. All these decisions you make. People think ethics is about right versus wrong. That's not true. Ethics is about the greater right over the lesser right. We're wired to know the difference between right and wrong. Ethics is about the greater right over the lesser right. But those three metal boxes, you do have to make a choice. A slow-moving tractor will run over you if you don't move. So take action. Make a choice. And then lastly, priorities again. I'm going to close with that one on the bottom right because I hadn't really said that one other than you seeing it on the prior slide. Sic vos non vobis. Anybody in the room ever hear of that? Raise your hand, be honest. All right. That's a little Latin for you. That Latin means not for ourselves, but for others. That Latin is on my father's tombstone in Monroe, Georgia. And what it says to me is that as you go about making those choices, if it's about me personally, or if you're talking to yourself, me, I, if it's about that, you got it wrong. When you're making those choices, if you have an outward mindset and you're thinking about others, including the maker upstairs, if you're thinking about others and things beyond you more than you are yourself, that will help instruct the choices that you make. Thank you very much for your time. We're going to open it up with questions. All right, we got a mic that's going to go around. Who's going to give away the mic there? Who's got it? All right, Christine's got the mic. Don't give it to these two tables. All right, but if y'all got some questions, fire away. How much time do we have, by the way? It's 8:30, 8:27. 15 minutes, okay. So I actually was kind of on time. Kind of? Okay, cool. Let's go. Be vulnerable, be bold.
Yeah, hey, good morning. Really appreciate your time. Cody Kenshin, like many of us in the room, work in the insurance industry. I'm at Aon on the PNC side. We all know that insurance can sometimes have a negative perception for those that don't work in the industry. So I'm just curious what your elevator speech to combat that, because we all have it, but I'd like to hear your take.
Well, yeah, thanks, Cody. I appreciate that. And, I made fun of that earlier at a cocktail party. You don't love telling people that you're in the insurance business for that very reason. That's tongue in cheek. I was like that. Like for the first 10 years of my career, I would say financial services. But now I have no hesitation saying that I'm in the insurance business. So to answer your question, when you hand out a disability check to some family that had an accident in their family, and you know that takes care of them to avoid filing for bankruptcy, you're proud of what you do. When you help a family over in West Georgia that has a business whose dad and uncle pass away in accidents, and you deliver $12 million of life insurance to them and save that business, frankly, that kept over 100 people with a job, then you start to value what you do. When you have personal situations in your family, like a brain aneurysm, and you realize that that could have bankrupted a family, then you start to appreciate what you do. And in my role, I'm off doing these huddle and cuddle meetings and talking and all the rest. But the people on the front line, what gives me the most joy in my work, as I say, if you ever get an attaboy or an attagirl, or you get an accolade, somebody gives you a testimonial that is something good that you did in your job, send it to me. I want to see it. And it isn't just about them tooting their horn. It's because I get energy from that. When I see somebody earlier this week, his wife has cancer. He's sitting there with an insurance claim that's been denied, and our team helps get that thing, not just the claim paid, but the care in which they delivered that to the individual along the way, and then for them to come back and say, "You can't believe what relief you gave to me." And my wife, as we were going through this challenge, I'm eternally grateful. You get that kind of email, you start to get it. So Cody, back to your question, what do you do about it? All about personal stories, right? We talk about facts and logic and things like that, but in relationships, it's the stories that matter the most, and that's why I'm back on my soapbox here on the screen time. You can't tell a story to a screen that doesn't want to talk back to you. Now, some of y'all that are doing AI, well, AI will talk back to me. I'm like, yeah, but you can't build a relationship with AI. So build relationships, and you build the best relationships through stories that you do in life together. So hope that helps. What else we got? There is no way there aren't somebody else have fun. Come on. Yes, ma'am.
Talk about it. You talked a lot about relationships and how to get the win-win. So talk about when you had to work with somebody very difficult. What was the situation? How'd you handle it?
Y'all hear the question? Talk about a challenging relationship and how you dealt with it. I mean, like count the ways, right? So always start with empathy. Always listen. There's a difference in listening and hearing. So you can act like you listen, but are you really hearing them? So hear their perspective. Ask them follow-up questions when they start telling you what the challenge is. Really get at what they're trying, what are they feeling? Make sure they hear you. Then you can say, I don't have all the answers, but you want to show them that you care about their perspective. And then just ask for permission. Do you mind if I share my perspective? The way I see it is this, this, this. It's hard work, really hard work. What would be your answer to your own question? Let's get her a mic here. Let's make my voice is giving up. What does on the Hearn applausometer? Like where would my answer go? It's kind of down here.
I think your answer is right on. It's actually a question I would ask a lot of times when I was interviewing a college student, because I think it shows a lot about what you are personally and how you're going to handle things for the future. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Here's an analogy. Now, I keep going back to social media, but I think it's ruining our society. We're hearing social media is built by people who are trying to get you to lock into their screen. And the way they get you to lock in is with drama. So they take the polar opposites of an issue and they stir it up, right? And it gets you looking at things. That's what they're trying to do, is to draw you into that. So how do you avoid that? Well, you tune some of that out. My word picture here, which I love word pictures, is if you're walking down the street, let's say it's daylight, you're just walking right down here, Peachtree. If somebody comes up to you and they start to bone up at you like they're going to box with you, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to go up like this against them. Well, social media, that's what social media is doing, is putting everybody in this kind of a posture. And we have to stop being that person that's got their arms up. Somebody's got to stop it, right? Somebody's got to stop the confrontational nature of things, and stop leaning into the trolls that are out there on social. I mean, if y'all are sending fired up troll stuff on social media, stop it. It's doing no good for anybody. Nobody's listening to you anyway. If it makes you feel better, then just go talk to yourself in a mirror, okay? Because it's not helping society. But that's just a little reaction. Let's just tone it down, start having conversations, and listen and hear what the other person's saying. I need other people here who are trained on this stuff to answer these questions.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir, Mr. Underwood.
Mike, along the same lines, where do you get your news?
That's a great question. I read the Wall Street Journal. I mean, I'm a conservative. Don't hold it against me if you're not. That's really hard to say I'm a conservative these days, because there's a lot going on that I'm not real thrilled about. Now I've offended everybody in the room. Okay. But where do I get my news? I used to watch Fox News, and I just can't do it anymore. I just can't watch it because of that stuff that I'm talking about. So where do I get my news now that I've offended everybody? Economist and the Wall Street Journal. Those are the two things that I read. And then there's a couple of industry reports that I read called Hells. You probably have seen that one in our businesses. Hells is the document I look at for internal stuff. And then outside of that, I've got a trusted network of friends, some of whom are in this room, and we will send back articles of note that we felt like rang a bell for us from an intellectual standpoint. A lot of what I'm studying in that regard over the last 10 years has been around this notion of truth. The word of the year in 2016, y'all know what it was? Webster's does this word of the year every year. The word of the year in 2016 was post-truth. Well, that's nonsense. I mean, there is truth, right? There has to be truth. If two things are in opposition to each other, they can't both be true. Got me? I mean, and society wants to tell us, do what you want to do, be what you want to be your best self. That's all okay from like an encouragement standpoint, but be very careful about where that ultimately leads. It ultimately leads to relativism and no truth. So I just got to dabble in a little of my personal perspective on things based on that question. Thanks, Will. What do you got?
I got a question.
Michael, am I in trouble? I see you looking at me.
Not yet.
Okay.
So going back a little bit in time, with your career blip, how long in your career blip did it take for you to realize that you were not in the place that you should be? And then how did you get yourself out of it?
So I was in San Diego, California. This is all about my career blip. If y'all didn't hear, I think you did. The mic was up. So I was in San Diego, California. I mean, that is a nice place to live. My children would have gone to Torrey Pines High School, if y'all know where that is. That's where Phil Mickelson went. The kids there drive Porsches and Land Rovers. I mean, this was a nice place to live. My wife it was heaven on earth. I mean, she dropped the kids off at school and then go walk on the beach every day. This place was not real, but it was where we lived. Well, with the ball she was having, compare that to answer your question. I'm at work and I'm working for a mad scientist, which is why I didn't share the company name with you. And the day I learned that I was somewhere I shouldn't be is when I, as a grown man, I was called into the lobby along with about 35 other people that worked in that office. We had offices all over the place. Well, a phone call had come in, and the person that had dialed out, it landed on his desk. So somebody from outside calls in, says, I want to talk to Jane. It might have been John, who knows? But the CEO picks up the phone and says, I'm not going to tell you his name, can I help you? Yeah, I'd like to talk to Jane. So Jane wasn't in the office. Jane is going to the bathroom. So he gets off the phone, can't find Jane. He literally calls everybody into the lobby, and he says, from now on, if you go to the bathroom, you need to sign out at the lobby desk. I'm a grown man. These are grown women and men in my office, and the head of that company is so narcissistic that he wants me to sign out to go to the bathroom. That's the day I knew I was leaving. Well, it took about 5 or 6 months for me to convince my wife that this honeymoon that we were on with her walking on the beach that afternoon was not right. I mean, you got into work there at 5 a.m. because you had to be there when the East Coast opened up. That's fine. I'm an early riser anyway, but it was like a mandate. Family, life balance, all that stuff wasn't even in his cards. I won't go into some other things about him, but I probably should have picked up on it sooner than that. But that's the day that I recognized it. How long did it take me to get over it? Well, again, it took me about 6 months to get my wife to realize that, and then this move back to Atlanta. I mean, I'm just sitting there going, man, I was gonna retire. I bled Unum Blue. That was the first company I worked with. I was going to retire there. And here I've chased this money. What have I done? I got my family across the country. I haven't kept in touch with my networks back in Georgia. I mean, it was a rough period of time, but just took action, had some people looking out for me, and kept plowing ahead, and finally it worked out. So the resilience piece was a big part of that. What else we got? Yes, sir.
I've got a question. I'm gonna take you a different route. So I come from the finance, project finance, and energy storage. So with this new technology, in Georgia is looking at adding battery storage. So I'm an engineer, by the way. I graduated from you.
I already know I'm going to ask somebody else to answer the question. But go ahead.
The insurance looking at these facilities, we're talking about 50, 100 megawatts. We're talking about utility scale battery storage. That's just a general comment.
Okay, so a comment. Is there a question in that?
That is the question. Your comment on my how is insurance looking at this technology?
Well, I'm an employee benefits. So anybody, Will, Brandon, Sterling, anybody got an answer to that on property and casualty?
Flammable.
It's flammable. There's your, get it? Yeah, it's flammable.
If you don't take care of it.
Okay, great. One more question, then we'll go. Mitch, sorry. Thank you. Sorry I was a weak answer. I just don't know anything about that world. Go ahead. This is dangerous.
I got a couple of questions here.
I know this guy.
John, you've had a terrific career, and I like the drawing here, the different paths you've been along. As you look back and maybe contrast it to your experience in San Diego, what do you find is the best way to enable your team members to succeed and really achieve at their highest and best throughout their career, whether it be early in their career or later?
So Michael's talking about sort of management leadership. Those are two different things, right? So management and leadership are two different things, but they're the same in this regard as my answer to your question. Some of you folks with wisdom and experience could do a task in 3 minutes that will take somebody else 20 minutes. Somewhere along the way, you were given a task to do that took you 20 minutes to do that somebody above you could do in 3 minutes. Who along in your career gave you those opportunities to stretch yourself by giving you a task that was a little ahead of your skis? Model yourself after those mentors in your career. You know who they are. Like if I asked everybody in this room, who is somebody, really think about it, who is somebody in your career that made a difference in getting you over that experiential hump to turn you into the professional that you are? Who's a name in your head?
Bob.
You make that up?
I did.
Okay. I believe it. I've got those names in my head. Instead of listening to my answer on that, think about what they did for you. Any answer I give you, you're going to forget. But think about the mentors that poured into you, and then you ask yourself, am I being that for somebody else? Right? Y'all are here. This isn't meant to be gratuitous, but you're already wisdom seeking, you're curious, you're going to events like this to network, you're already driving yourself to excellence through what you're doing here. So I can tell you, somebody in your career poured into you. I don't have a doubt about that. And so ask yourself, am I going to be that for somebody else? That's my weak answer, but it's my answer.
Good one.
All right. Thanks for your time, Mitch. Thanks for giving me the hook. All right.
John, thank you so much.
Yeah, and hey, one more. Go Dogs. Get it? All right. That's my word.
If you're like me, you thought you were coming to hear what was going on in the insurance market this time. John, you did a fantastic job. I loved hearing your wisdom on life. And when my kids get a little older, I might give you a call and see if they can come spend a day with you and get some of your wisdom. But on behalf of the Terry Third Thursday Committee, we want to present this to you as a token of our appreciation.
Leave it there.
I want to remind everyone to get your parking ticket validated on your way out, and thank you all for being here.